talking. It is very bright. It's certainly my honor and privilege to be standing here tonight celebrating the involvement of one of Cape's treasures. I really believe it has been and will continue to be a treasure for us, especially on the hour day. And I'm here to do, you've had the roasting, you've had the jokes, and I'm the serious guy, as you can hear. So I'm here to do a couple of proclamations for you. And I think our board also asked you to come up here for this. I think it's time to be really part of this celebration. And while you're making your way up here, I'll give you a short note that's from Mark Forrest. Mary Lou certainly deserves to be recognized for her many years of outstanding service to the Cape. It is rare to find someone like her who is so caring and dedicated to serving the community. Think about it. If somebody told you 20-some odd years ago that they would work as a community organizer and help boost support and funding for human services on the Lower Cape, you would have said they were crazy. But she took on this challenge, and she did a great job. I enjoyed working with her during my days in Provincetown. When we decided we needed a new CDC to serve the Lower Cape, she was totally on board and helped us make it happen. When we decided to create a transit task force, there's that transportation here, a transit task force and build local support for public transportation and the new flex bus. She was right there helping us build grassroots support. Her unending support and grassroots advocacy made all the difference. President Kennedy once said that one person can make a difference. Well, Mary Lou has certainly made a difference. She has been a beacon of light and hope for thousands and a source of inspiration for so many others. Congressman Dullahan and I are truly grateful and appreciative for all her service. Please give her our very best wishes. Now, Mary, you can make your way up here.
Yes, with that.
Okay. The first, I have three separate proclamations here. You must be very popular. The first one is a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Mary Lou Petttit, Community Development Partnership, for your years of service to the Lower Cape community. Your vision, determination, and incredibly hard work resulted in the Community Development Partnership. We thank and salute you as you step down as a member of the CDP Board of Trustees. Signed October 29, 2009 by Gwen Pellitier. And they get bigger as we go. This one is from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts State Senate, official citation. Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends congratulations to Mary Lou Petttit in recognition of honoring your role in founding the Community Development Partnership and for championing affordable housing and economic development initiatives on the Lower Cape. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. Signed by Chief Murray, President of the Senate, William Welch attested it, and offered by State Senator Rob O'Leary. And not to be outdone, the House of Representatives also made a proclamation. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Mary Lou Petttit in recognition of your years of leadership and dedication as the champion of affordable housing and economic development on the Lower Cape. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Dated this 29th day of October 2009 at the State House in Boston, Massachusetts, signed by Robert DeLeo, Speaker of the House, and offered by Sarah P. We're not going to let her speak yet because of payments, and she'll get the last word.
But not quite yet.
I'd like to ask Gwen Pellitier to come up. I know she's here somewhere. To do the presentation of the award that Cynthia had her name on it.
It's an honor to present this award to Mary Lou. I considered Mary Lou a mentor for me during my years as director of the CDC. She was an inspiration. She has genuine commitment to and advocacy for services for those in our communities in greatest need. Hers is an awesome example to follow. One of the greatest compliments I ever received when I was at a meeting where people were expecting Mary Lou to be and she hadn't shown up yet, because people would sometimes say, "Hi, Mary Lou." I was humbled by being mistaken for her. There are many people in our communities who have been driven, and I emphasize the word driven, to become involved because of the leadership provided by Mary Lou. After she settled on the Cape in retirement in the mid-'80s, she was appointed the first coordinator of what was then the Lower Alba Cape Community Coalition. In that position, with her commitment, advocacy, drive, pushing and pulling others along, including members of our towns and county government, federal and state delegations, Mary Lou provided the leadership that created this organization, the Community Development Partnership, the Homeless Prevention Council, formerly Interfaith Council for the Homeless, Children's Place, and the Lower Cape chapter of Habitat for Humanity. In so many ways, Mary Lou is given to the greater Cape Cod, Barnstable County community. At the risk of omitting one, because her involvement has been so broad, I dare list them. With the town of Eastham, she served on the Housing Authority, was elected for 6 years, and during in her period, the Housing Authority purchased the first housing owned by the Housing Authority. As David mentioned, she was an elected member of the Assembly of Delegates representing Eastham for 12 years, and in that period of time, she introduced the first county legislation that had anything to do with housing. Countywide, she, as has been mentioned, involved with the Barnstable County Transportation Task Force and an active leader, if not driver, pusher, puller, in establishing the Flex Bus. Co-chair of the Barnstable County Homeless Prevention Strategic Planning Committee, creating a countywide plan to prevent homelessness. Founder of the Barnstable County Human Services Advisory Council, which led to the creation of the County Human Services Department. Representative from the Lower Cape on the Board of Legal Services of Cape Cod and the Islands. Member and active with the League of Women Voters. Member of the Interfaith Group on the Holocaust, Genocide, and Human Rights. Member and trustee of the Federated Church in Orleans. And active in Democratic Party committees, even though she was a friend with Henri. Prior to retiring to the Cape with her husband in the mid-'80s, Mary was actively involved with housing and community service activities in the town of Ramsey and Bergen County in New Jersey. The League of Women Voters locally and statewide, the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, Fair Housing Council of Bergen County, and the Bergen County Housing Authority. In her spare time, Mary Lou enjoys the time with her 3 adult children and her grandchildren who live on the Cape, making time to spend time at their theatrical and sporting events. She's an avid reader and has been a member of the Eastham Women's Book Club for 15 years, is an avid sports fan, hardly missing a broadcast of the Red Sox and cheering on the Patriots and Celtics. And she loves theater and movies and is a frequent patron of the lovely Harbor Actors Theater. Mary Lou reminds me of that battery bunny who keeps going and going and going and going. this award to Mary Lou and thank her for giving and giving and giving and giving.
Thank you, Gwen, very much for that. Thank you, everybody. To bring you down to reality about really some of my accomplishments, it is true that I was a 12-year member of the Assembly of Delegates, which is an elected position, but I always ran unopposed. I had a great friend who told me once, well, when you run unopposed and lose, you find out how popular you are. Thought that was going to happen to me eventually. This has been a really a major treat for me, for my family who are here tonight. It isn't always easy, and I thank them for that, to live with somebody who's doing everything that I've been doing all these years.
And I thank them for
really putting up with a lot of that over the years. I just wanted to say about being here on the stage tonight, the Julie Harris stage. I'm a great lover of the theater, and my husband and I participated and went to the theater in New York City. I go all the time here on the Cape. I would have paid you to be here. I never could get here any other way. And I just thank you for it, and I thank Watts Theater, my granddaughter, who's the box office manager here, and especially Julie Harris, whom I know and admire and respect, to let me share this theater with them. Some of the history of the Community Development Partnership, which was, so for many years, the CDC, you've already been given. But I just wanted to highlight a few things and why it's so really a surprise and a treat to have Henri Rauschenbach with us. Because when I was chair of the coalition, I just had been here a year and got that job, he came to me and said, we've got to start the CDC. And I said, I'm too busy to do anything about that kind of thing. Just go away, I can't do it. And he wouldn't let us stop. So we did have a lot, it sounds tonight as if I did all of this by myself, and there couldn't be anything further from the truth. Certainly it was Henri's thinking, which I always found so visionary, but also we brought other people to help us do this. The very warm and loving Peter Kerwin from Falmouth area was really one of the leaders that told us the directions we should go in. We had the CDC from Wisconsin, Maine come down here and talk to us. We met constantly with Vicki Goldsmith, who was then at the Orleans House Authority. And we had the longest gestation period of any organization. And the people that were involved in that period, and most of them are here tonight. Vicki is here, Rick Presbury from HAC, really Without Housing Assistance Corporation, and their constant and continued support, the CDP wouldn't have come into existence. And we met frequently with David Willard and a few others at the Hunan Gourmet, and we'd be the only four there talking about it. I thought we were going to get off the ground, and I don't think they did either. And the first few executive directors we had were really not quite well known or quite what we needed, and that was a very difficult period. But we survived that, and with those partnerships, which have been there from the beginning, we came to where we are. As I stand here at the theater, and you've got to accept the fact that I'm a theater lover, I just want to remind you of, maybe you might remember, a quote from Thornton Wilder, who wrote Our Town, and it seems appropriate. He said, on the stage, it is always now. The personages are standing on that razor's edge between the past and the future. And it is the essential character of consciousness. Well, I'm sort of that razor's edge tonight, a little bit about the past, but more importantly about the future. And while I won't be on the board, I'm going to stay on the housing committee and continue to watch what I think is a marvelous panel of people who live here. That's the real meat of the CDP, was that panel. And that's getting us to where we are today, through those difficult growing years, through those first two difficult
executive directors,
loaned by Housing Assistance Corporation of Debbie Chambers as an interim director while we were struggling. And then, of course, the great Gwen Pellitier years, those Gwen years, when we really got the CDP off the ground. And our CDP was a bit different than others. Then that we decided from the beginning that we would do both housing and economic development. Most CDPs do one or the other. That was the challenge. It remains a challenge today. But they are so interrelated on the Lower Cape that I think we felt then, as we may still feel, that it was necessary to do them together. And it was through those years that we worked with great legislative support at the state level. I mean, we always have had that. Shirley Gomes, who's here tonight, was always there for us when we needed financing or support from elected officials.
that she was always present.
It never mattered political parties with this organization. And I think that's the strength of community development corporations. So the banks have always been a creative part. And with the Cape Cod Five, with both Dave Willard for all those years of his chairmanship, and then with Ernie Rogers, we've had that kind of support. And that has broadened to include other banks on the Cape. So this has been past history of what I think is one of the proudest moments of my life, is being a part of this organization. It is, as many of you know, a movement, the community development movement. It is not just local, and that's why I'm such a strong believer in this kind of organization. It is national, and it is statewide, it is region, and once we had a speaker, Paul Grogan, who is now the executive
Director of the Boston Foundation.
who headed LISC, which was the national CDC movement, come down to talk to us. And he talked to us about the importance of rural community development corporations. Because for the most part, they had just then been urban groups, started basically by Bob Kennedy in the Bedford-Stuyvesant area of New York. And they moved then to include groups like ours, more rural in nature, but with the same kind of needs that some of those urban groups had. And that movement continues today at the national level and certainly at the state level. And I find it so exciting to be a part of that wide area of community development. And the partnerships that we have formed here on the state, at the local level, in our region of the Lower Cape, with Chris Austin at the Homeless Prevention Council, with B.L. Hathaway,
With the Community Coalition.
with the Children's Place. They've always been there. We've always been an integral part of the community because we've always recognized how important those community partners were and still are. CDCs are from the ground up, and we've always reflected that. And I hope we never forget that. And for the future, and times are so much more difficult, as Elizabeth Bridgewater knows, and is certainly capable of taking care of. We have less funding, that we have to do more private fundraising. It's difficult now, and the issues are more complex, and they're even deeper, with homelessness and hunger on Cape Cod at dramatic rates. So the need is not going to go away. It's going to be more difficult to find those needs. But in closing, I want to point out what I think you need to look for when you're looking both for, if I can offer you that, both for board members and for your partners. And it isn't their academic background or their job resume. It's more the qualities that I found when I was looking through, of all the books, the Bible the other day, in the Psalms. And in Psalm 106, they talk about the qualities needed to face the fears in the world. And I think this is what we need to look for always in members of our board and in our partners, a sense of generosity, a sense and definitely patience, something that I've had to learn in a hard way. A lot of us have had to. A sense of togetherness and a sense of calm. All of this is from the Psalm 106. Trust, integrity, definitely compassion, a sense of justice, joy in your work, wisdom, timing is everything,
Faith.
openness, courage, challenge, harmony, balance, equality, diversity, a sense of willingness to take a risk, open to change, the willingness to grow, and we have to continue that. And then a sense, finally, of peace. So, as we face all those challenges, and I wish this board well in doing that. This has been one of the most enjoyable periods of my life, and one of the most constructive as being a part of the community development movement. I'd like to close with a quote from another theater person, since I want to take advantage of every lesson. And that's Tennessee Williams. In his play, The Milk Train Doesn't Stop Here Anymore. He said, we're left alone with each other. We have to creep close to each other and give those gentle little nudges with our paws in our muzzles before we can step into sleep and await the next day's mysteries. My best to you all. Thank you.